The Senate approved the Freedom of Information Bill, a landmark legislation championed by Senator Grace Poe, a bill that is expected to promote more accountability and transparency in government. Hopefully, as committed by Speaker Feliciano Belmonte, the House will give the FOI the same urgency to ensure its approval. And joining us tonight on NewsLife is Attorney Nepomuceno Malaluan of the Right to Know Coalition. Good evening, sir, and welcome to NewsLife.
Yes, good evening, Robert.
Sir, Senator Grace Poe was true to her commitment, saying that the Senate approved on third reading. Now, for Information Bill 21 voted for its approval. Now, is this a message for the House to act decisively and quickly on the measure?
Yes, we thank and congratulate the Senate for its decisive action and prompt action. This is the fastest in the history of the long history of the FOI bill, and certainly this sends a message to the House that the Senate will go beyond merely passing, but will also try to ask the coordinate body to do its task of passing its counterpart measure.
So now the right to reply provision is out of the Senate version. Now, will this be adopted by the House? To the credit of the 16th Congress, all 24 bills currently in consideration by the Committee on Public Information does not have a rider of the right of reply. There is still a right of reply bill, but it has been filed separate or independent of the FOI bill. So this removes one contentious issue that has been a bone of discussion in the last Congress. Now, sir, Senate proposal calls for the mandatory disclosure of the statement of assets and liabilities of all government officials and employees. Now, are you happy with this provision?
Well, on the one hand, there is already RA 6713 that provides a framework for accessing statements of assets and liabilities based on request. But the Senate bill went further by requiring the automatic publication of the SALN. So this is certainly a step forward from not just requiring it through request-based access, but in this case, it's automatically disclosed or published to the public.
How strong is this SALN document to ensure that there's no corruption in any of the dealings or any of the assets of government officials?
Well, the statement of assets and liabilities is a mechanism for not just the public, but also for accountability agencies in government to monitor a public official's increase in net worth and to see if this is commensurate to his income. And so if there is a big disparity, there is a need on the part of the public official to explain the source of the expansion of the wealth, for example. And this is an indication that the wealth might have been ill-gotten if they fail to explain the source of such expansion of the net worth.
So what's your take on the timing? Seeing that right now the Senate and even the House is being hounded by issues on these different corruption issues right now?
Well, this only emphasizes the need for this measure as a mechanism on the part of the citizens to be able to enable them to exact accountability, not just with how the government officials conduct themselves in government, but how our funds are being spent. So it is the institutionalization that we need, and what we are seeing now is that while we support the current measures of proactive transparency, the citizens would require as well a request-based access that is institutionalized and secure and uniform, speedy, for all across agencies of government.
So in addition to this, the bill also mandates the downloading of all the budgets and expenditures of all government agencies. Now, will this boost the President's campaign against corruption?
Yes, certainly. The current practice already, the initiative of the national government to proactively disclose information on the budget and other expenditures is a good starting point and provides us with aggregate data most of the time. but this must be complemented with an ability to go deeper into this aggregate data, and this can only be done if there is a complementary legislation that enables citizens to request specific documents and not just based on aggregate information that is proactively disclosed. So this is a complementary, the proactive disclosure of information and a predictable request-based access by citizens.
So to add to that, what would it take to ensure that what we are downloading, all these budgets, these expenditures that they say that you can download, are correct?
Well, precisely the transparency and the ability of citizens to look into this data is our mechanism to verify and to check the accuracy of this information. If it is shrouded in secrecy, then nobody will be able to check the correctness and accuracy. By putting it out to the public, then we are able to put it in scrutiny by academics, by people in finance, by ordinary citizens. So the transparency itself and the access to information is the mechanism to check the credibility and integrity of the information that the government puts out.
So today you attended the technical working group of the House panel in coming up with just one out of the so many bills. Now, what is the most contentious issue?
Well, the reference bill that the technical working group is working on is composed of 25 sections. The technical working group on its third meeting is on discuss section 7, which is the exceptions. And there are a number of subsections of section 7, and today they only in 3.5 hours a provision of a letter of section 7. So what we are seeing is that there is much discussion going on, and the key to be able to finish it is for the chair to schedule more frequent technical working group. We have seen that the pace is not commensurate with the frequency of the technical working group meeting setting if the House is to be able to catch up with the prompt action by the Senate.
And finally, sir, how confident are you that the House will be ready to approve the bill when Congress resumes sessions in early May?
Well, as I mentioned, they will not still be in a position to approve the bill. It is still in technical working group. It's in section 7. They need to speed up the technical working group work. And after that, it's the only time that the committee will be able to vote on it. And then there will be another phase with respect to the plenary. So it's still a long way to go, and the only way it can be sped up is if the chair will schedule more frequent technical working group meetings at the House.
Okay, on that note, thank you very much for joining us here tonight at NewsLife. That was Attorney Nepomuceno Malaluan of the Right to Know Coalition. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.